Netanyahu silently controlled. Trump, the secret video behind the power game. Spring 2020. In the heart of Washington, D.C., a private meeting inside the White House was publicly billed as a diplomatic consultation. But behind closed doors, it marked the start of a chilling bargain, one that could alter the course of history. U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met alone, far from the world's gaze, with only one aide each present. Netanyahu revealed a card no one knew he held, a video from 2013. If leaked, it would end Trump's political career instantly. The footage, shot at a private event in Monaco, allegedly showed Trump in a morally compromising position with European defense executives. It had been buried deep in intelligence archives, secured by Mossad during a covert operation. Trump didn't speak. He didn't blink. He simply sat frozen. Netanyahu remained stone-faced. He didn't need to gloat. He simply said, "I'm not here to destroy you. I'm here to empower myself." That single sentence said it all. This wasn't diplomacy. It was calculated coercion. For Netanyahu, power wasn't a tool. It was an addiction. What came next never made headlines. The press reported nothing on Jerusalem, peace talks, or mutual alliances. Instead, Netanyahu quietly began reconstructing his shattered image across American and European media. His goal? Secure military contracts, increase arms shipments, and rebrand himself as a champion of Western democracy. But back home, democracy was on life support. Journalists were silenced, protests suppressed, corruption trials buried. Netanyahu wasn't rebuilding his image. He was laundering it. Trump had no real choice. The election loomed. One leaked tape could destroy everything. Worse, if U.S. intelligence found proof of foreign compromise, Trump might even face criminal charges. His presidency wasn't the only thing on the line. His freedom was too. Within a week, the U.S. approved a $700 million emergency defense package for Israel. The media didn't ask why. Simultaneously, pro-Netanyahu narratives began flooding major European outlets. Articles hailed him as the defender of stability, painting over years of corruption scandals. It wasn't a PR campaign. It was an erasure of history. Behind closed doors, Trump did more. He allegedly applied pressure on European leaders to support Israel's controversial surveillance and security laws. In return, newspapers in Germany, France, and the UK ran near-identical stories about Netanyahu's commitment to peace. Copy-paste propaganda disguised as journalism. The Trump-Netanyahu alliance grew stronger. Trump greenlit 2 media campaigns to boost Netanyahu's popularity. Netanyahu returned the favor by ordering flattering coverage of Trump in Israeli outlets. Quiet rumors suggested Fox News consultants were coordinating with media agencies in Tel Aviv. And Netanyahu didn't stop there. In late 2021, classified communications between Israeli and U.S. cybersecurity units revealed a surprising shift. A joint surveillance program targeting not just foreign threats, but select American journalists and policy analysts who had written critical pieces about Netanyahu. Though officially labeled as cyber threat monitoring, internal memos suggested that the targets were chosen based on political bias, not national security. A domestic journalist who stumbled onto this list was later fired under mysterious circumstances. Her private emails were leaked, discrediting her career. Meanwhile, Netanyahu expanded his network of influence across Eastern Europe. He personally met with controversial far-right leaders in Hungary and Poland, brokering opaque energy and defense agreements in exchange for media silence on Israeli domestic abuses. These meetings were never documented in official records, but were exposed in a data leak by a disillusioned aide who has since disappeared. By early 2022, international watchdog organizations noticed a disturbing trend. Israeli humanitarian aid programs in conflict zones were being redirected or delayed in countries that criticized Netanyahu's government. Officially, logistical reasons were cited. Unofficially, it was clear. Netanyahu was willing to weaponize humanitarian efforts to silence criticism. Inside Israel, members of his own cabinet grew uneasy. Leaks from closed-door Knesset meetings revealed frustration among his allies, with one unnamed minister reportedly saying, "He doesn't serve Israel anymore. He serves only himself." Some attempted to challenge him. Most were quickly marginalized or caught up in sudden scandals. Arrests, investigations, character assassinations, no move against Netanyahu came without consequences. Even the Israeli judiciary was not immune. In mid-2022, a senior judge who had criticized Netanyahu's influence over the justice system was abruptly reassigned. Weeks later, a smear campaign erupted involving alleged financial improprieties from a decade prior. Although the claims were never substantiated, the damage to her reputation was irreversible.
Whistleblowers became rarer. Fear grew deeper. The culture of silence turned into a culture of complicity. Meanwhile, in the U.S., and some insiders within Trump's administration began questioning the nature of the relationship. But those voices were sidelined. One advisor was reassigned after submitting a memo titled "Foreign Leverage Risk: Netanyahu's Positioning." That memo was never officially acknowledged. To this day, it has not resurfaced. In mid-2023, a secret summit in Zurich brought together political operatives from both countries. Though the meeting was hidden from the press, leaked itineraries showed representatives from major defense firms, private intelligence agencies, and controversial lobbying groups. Attendees signed non-disclosure agreements, and encrypted communications were used throughout. Some experts believe this summit solidified a covert pact that extended beyond Trump's presidency. Documents later surfaced indicating that certain U.S. defense initiatives had been redirected at great financial cost to accommodate Israeli technological integration. Some lawmakers protested, none were heard. Then in late 2023, everything almost unraveled. A journalist in Europe received a leaked dossier, reportedly from a former Mossad agent. It stated, Netanyahu used a compromising video of Donald Trump as leverage to extract policy and funding concessions. The story never aired. Mainstream outlets buried it under the label of diplomatic sensitivity. But it wasn't forgotten. Reddit threads exploded. YouTube channels investigated. And then a distorted audio clip surfaced. A gravelly voice, allegedly Netanyahu's, could be heard whispering, "I'll protect you, but you'll play by my rules." Was it real? Deep fake? Heavily edited? No one could say, but it didn't matter. The message was clear and terrifying. Then came a cryptic statement from one of Netanyahu's senior aides. Israel does not exploit its friends, but every friend must understand the cost of silence. To most observers, it wasn't a denial, it was a warning, because Netanyahu never led through trust. He ruled through fear, fear of exposure, fear of ruin, and behind that calm exterior, he held files, secrets, tapes, dossiers, weapons more powerful than any army. One former Israeli intelligence officer, speaking under condition of anonymity, described Netanyahu's strategy as blackmail diplomacy. According to him, Netanyahu had built a private archive of compromising materials, not just on foreign leaders, but on his own ministers and critics. No one crosses him, the source said, because no one knows what he has. Some speculated that his grip on power was a masterclass in psychological warfare. He didn't just manipulate narratives, he manipulated memory itself. By flooding the media with conflicting stories, partial truths, and silence in all the right places, Netanyahu didn't just control perception, he controlled reality. Former allies who had supported him during his early years now found themselves in a moral dilemma. A few attempted to speak out, only to be met with sudden audits, revoked security clearances, or anonymous threats. The message was simple. Loyalty was not optional. And still, no official inquiry, no media outrage, no political consequence. Instead, more aid flowed, more weapons shipped, and Netanyahu, once disgraced, rose again, untouchable. So ask yourself, is this leadership or is it something darker? Because when the truth is buried, stories rise, and some stories cut too deep. Some leaders will stop at nothing, not even manipulating world powers, just to stay on top. Some don't fear scandal, they fear losing control, and some fear nothing at all.